Hey guys, Liam here, and just wanted to give you a bit of a heads up as to what this video is. Now, Monday on this channel is typically the date for This Week in Philadelphia Sports, and during the upload process, news broke that Brandon Brooks had actually torn his Achilles, which rendered this entire video absolutely useless, which is about on brand for this YouTube channel. But what I wanted to do was give it to you anyway. There is a segment in there about Brandon Brooks doing Muay Thai, so obviously not related to the injury. So I didn't want to upload it without a preface that, you know, I've not acknowledged it. I promise you I have, but the video was made before the injury to Brandon Brooks. But I wanted to share this with you guys anyway. So without further ado, is This Week in Philadelphia Sports. Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of This Week in Philadelphia Sports, where, as you might have guessed it, we go over everything that's happened this week in Philadelphia Sports. Again, if you're new to this channel and you haven't yet subscribed yet, it would be amazing if you could do so. But if you enjoy this content, make sure you drop a like and turn that grey thumb blue. It'd be better if we could turn it midnight green, but I don't make the rules around here, people, so blue has to do. Again, it's been another week where nothing really happened in the world of Philadelphia sports, but I'm more emotionally attached to this series than I am my ex-girlfriend, so I thought we might as well bring it back for another rodeo, despite the fact there's nothing to talk about. Although, there is one big topic I want to headline today's conversation, and that is the Eagles' preparations for training camp and the 2020 season, because this has to be the most important period in a very long time of Eagles football. This isn't like a regular off-season. This isn't like a set training camp we're used to. This is a totally new landscape for many NFL coaches, and Doug Peterson has been at the forefront of adapting and tweaking and bringing new ideologies to his practices since he first came to Philadelphia. Like, let's not forget when he first arrived, the 10-10-10 practice was brought with him. And then in 2016, where Carson Wentz suffered an injury, where Zach Ertz was clarted by his own player, Peterson then decided to run less live hitting periods. And every year since then, there does seem to have been a notable tweak or an extra rest day here and there, or an extra day of live hitting, and just constantly listening to player feedback in order to give the most productive camp possible. And when you've got a coaching staff that's this new, you've got an entirely new offensive coordinator room, you've got a new wide receiver coach, there's a new layout at the quarterback spot. Let's not even touch on the fact there's a new defensive line coach, a new defensive back coach. There's a lot of intangibles here that the Eagles need to be prepared for in a regular circumstance, let alone the fact that these players haven't had a chance to learn the playbook, haven't had OTAs to get acclimatized with each other. Rookies and young players haven't had that summer period to get to know one another, to gel with the team, and that's why these virtual workouts are so important, and why Doug Peterson and the Eagles have gone the extra mile in buying players' home equipment in order to work out virtually. Not every NFL team is doing this. Not every NFL team is allowing their players to work out with the team at home. It's more meetings, it's playbook based, it's end of discussion. You go back and you look at 90-Day Fiancé. But the Eagles are being very, very proactive in their goings on, and that goes outside of the regimented program. For instance, last week, where Jalen Reagor, the Eagles' first-round pick, posted an interesting Instagram story that seemed to feature a very familiar face. I can't quite work out who it is. Is it me? Is it Joe? But no, it's Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz was working out with a group of wide receivers who are believed to be Greg Ward Jr., JJ Arcega-Whiteside, Jalen Reagor, and Kez Watkins. So all of those guys are obviously very important because it is a group of young receivers. Jay Jaw, a second-round pick last year. Obviously, Reagor, a first-round pick this year. Greg Ward became a fan favourite last season, and obviously Kez Watkins, sort of in the area, makes a little bit of sense as a sixth-round pick from this year's class. Building up that chemistry is really important, and this shouldn't come as a surprise. Last year, Carson Wentz also held a little passing camp for himself and his wide receivers. It's nice to see that he's out there doing it again, and let's be honest, chemistry is going to be very important. Nelson Aguilar and Alshon Jeffrey aren't going to feature in this year's offense. Jeffrey might in the second half, but he's probably going to miss a huge chunk of change due to that injury. So you want to get acclimated with those wide receivers. And this is from the same quarterback, of course, that met with Jordan Matthews a week before OTA started back in his rookie season. The two went to the NovaCare complex. They put in that work. You love to see that from a quarterback that this year isn't getting it. And let's not forget 2018 when he was recovering from his ACL tear. He didn't get it. Nick Foles was the QB1. Wentz was on the sideline, unable to do anything. So he had to re-acclimatize himself with those wide receivers. So taking this sort of action amidst the current pandemic with social distancing in mind is very impressive. I love to see that from a quarterback. And for Carson Wentz to specifically demograph those young wide receivers, I like that. However, that hasn't stopped the veterans from working. Marquise Goodwin looks healthy. I think we can all agree he looks... I mean, if I look like that, I certainly wouldn't be here in a Charlton shirt. I might be just, you know, buying you all tickets to the gun show, which don't exist, because... Oh, I know, don't get all flustered at once. Don't. I know, it's easily done. I know. And then he did this hamstring workout, which is... terrifying. Like... ouch! Sean Jackson has also been posting workout videos to his social media, and he's looking fairly in shape. While Deshaun Jackson missed just about every game last year bar 1 and 3 snaps, he's going to make sure that he will not have that same fate this year. He wants to be a key part of the offense, and I think you can only get excited about that. At the end of the day, Jackson is still one of the premier deep threats in the NFL, and seeing him put in that work, seeing him get up to speed, get ready for training camp, whenever that may be, it's exciting. On the offensive line, Brandon Brooks is doing Mai Tai, and I don't mean like Mai Tai, I mean like, you know, the martial, Mai Tai, yeah? Mai Tai. As far as I'm aware, he is the only 300-pound human I've ever seen with a six-pack. That's mad. I mean, the man never ceases to amaze me. Whether it's recovering from the torn Achilles, whether it's battling against mental health, it blows my mind just how impressive, just how committed this man is. Like, he is truly a Philadelphia great here already. I think we're so lucky to have him. Can't wait to see what he can do with a full off-season to get fully healthy off of that injury last year. Lane Johnson, meanwhile, sees a challenge set up by none other than rookie Chase Young and proceeds to do that. Now listen, I'm a Goliath, I'm 6'3", I've got a 38-inch vertical. I can jump about an inch off the ground. That is stupid. It's just stupid, alright? He shouldn't be able to do that. The man is an actual monster. I'm a little bit scared of him. And I don't know what he's having for breakfast, but I would like it in bulk because that is superhuman form. On defense, Fletcher Cox took the defensive line out to his ranch in Texas. And wow, that sounds so American. Also been working out with Jim Washburn. Now, not all of the team could go out there, but Brandon Graham was out there. Javon Hargrave couldn't, unfortunately, but a lot of familiar faces certainly were, which is obviously very important. Now, one man in particular has been working with Jim Washburn, according to a report from NJ.com and big friend of Philly Sports Network, Mike Kay, and that young man is Derek Barnett, who is obviously entering a very important aspect of his career. Now, Washburn obviously coached in Philadelphia, he coached Brandon Graham, he overlapped with Jim Schwartz during his time in Tennessee, and has obviously been a disciple of the wide nine scheme. So you'd like to think that in terms of some off-season coaching, he'd be as good a person as any to try and influence Derek Barnett. So I think Barnett, coming off that 6.5 sack campaign, this is the first off-season he'll be fully 100% healthy with nothing lingering. He's only young, he knows that fifth-year option's been picked up. The pressure comes off him a little bit for now, but next year will ramp right back up again. Barnett did show development towards the end of last season. He had a nice spin move suddenly appear in his back pocket, but I feel like with a new defensive line coach in the way of Matt Burke, knowing that there's no veteran behind him, there is no Vinny Curry now, it goes straight from Graham to Barnett to Sweat and Sharif Miller. Like, he has to step up. He has to step up as a former first-round pick. It's debatable right now whether we've seen that kind of first-round production out of him. So I'd like to see a big jump from Barnett, and maybe that kind of work ethic will speak volumes to what we see on the field. He's not the only one, though. Alex Singleton, one of my favourite underdog linebackers from last year, putting in that work on a beach, though, which is a little bit more exotic, a little bit more spicy, and he's rocking the man bun. So basically best friends. We are basically best friends. Though his is more of an aggressive ponytail and mine looks pathetic. I think that's just about everyone, but I'm sure there are going to be plenty more Eagles we haven't mentioned that are putting in that work, that are getting on the grind and preparing for a very crucial off-season. Again, one like no other, where they'll have new coaches, new faces, new places, new spaces, new traces? I don't know, but I ran out of words to rhyme there, but you get what I mean. This is really going to be a unique situation. And you know what they say, failure to prepare is preparing to fail, and the Eagles are absolutely making sure they are not going to fall a victim to that statement. So I'm encouraged by this sort of thing, to see so many players taking to social media to show the work they're putting in, whether it's Mai Tai, whether it's jumping on boxes that are 97 feet tall, or whether it is working out with teammates. It's exciting to see. I hope you're all just as pumped up as I am, guys. Football is on the horizon. We're gradually getting closer and closer by the day. Thank you for sticking with us, and again, a massive, massive thank you for 20,000 subscribers. It is not a feat I ever thought we'd reach. I'm so eternally grateful for every single one of you who continue to support this channel and watch our content. From myself, Liam Jenkins, if you enjoyed this content, make sure you stick around and hit that subscribe button. I'll see you next time.